Hey everyone, this is Lisa from TRW, and in this video I'm going to show you how to get good cut settings with Siser Easy Reflective HTV. So this HTV is super cool. It's that night reflective. It'll hit the light and it'll reflect it. So if you want to learn how to cut Easy Reflective HTV, then just keep on watching. Alright, so I have my Easy Reflective right here, and I am going to set up my file for cutting in Silhouette Studio. This part's pretty standard if you are familiar with cutting HTV. I'm going to take my design, right click, flip horizontally, draw a little square using the rectangle tool from the left toolbar. Grab both of these, and I'm going to click this button at the top to align them. And now we have our design ready to start cutting. So let's go over to our send panel. One thing to note, this was an SVG, so I need to select both of these and click cut right here so it has the cut lines turned on. And one thing to be honest with you about is I dropped something, but I also have actually never cut this material on my Cameo, but I'm going to figure it out right here with you guys, and we're going to learn how to add in our custom cut settings and how to test our test cuts. So let's go over here. I'm going to click this arrow and let's go down towards the bottom and see this blue button here, add new material type. Let's click that. We see there's new material right here. Let's right click, rename it. So we're going to name this Easy Reflective. Oops. I can spell. Easy Reflective, and then I'm going to click off and click back on. So that way it shows the new name there and the cut settings. So looking at this material, feeling this material, it feels very similar to Glitter HTV. So I'm going to start off using the same settings. So let me go over to Glitter HTV. I do my blade at 5, speed at 10, force 18. So let's jump back over here. Let's see my blade at 5, speed at 10, and force, let's do 18. Okay, and then we're going to hit save. So this is saved in here. We just have to click this X. And now let's go over to this drop down. Let's select Easy Reflective. You can see these settings are right here. Okay, this is my material. Just like normal HTV, this side's shiny. We're gonna cut with this facing down and cut on this side. So let's go ahead and load my Cameo. Let's do a test cut together, see if those settings worked out well, and we'll readjust from there. So here we are. Here's my Easy Reflective. This is the dull side. This is the shiny side. So let's go over. I can see my roller is set to a cutting mat. So I'm going to drop this down to lift this bar and move this over to readjust my roller. All right, so let's go ahead and load this in. We are going to line up this side against that line there. Let's load that in and press load. Okay, so let's go over to our software. Let's check this. These are the settings I'm going to work with. So this is really important. We're going to do a test cut. So we're going to go right here, and we are going to test. Okay, so while it was cutting, it sounded like there was like a gritty cutting paper noise. So I wonder if that's the material or if it was cutting through my backing. Okay, so let me kind of adjust that. I can feel a tiny little indent, not a whole lot. And then with my test cut here, let me readjust for you. You can see that there's a slight indent from that cut there. So let's see how this weeds out. So let's grab. Okay, so my test cut itself looked pretty good. So what I am going to do is, because there is a little bit of an indent on the back side, I'm going to go back to my software over here, and I'm going to drop my force down like 2. Let's save that. All right, so now we're going to kind of take this, I'm going to use this arrow here, move my blade over, and then let's do one more test cut. Okay, so you may not have heard it, but that gritty noise was a little bit better than the last one. So I have some good feelings about this. Okay, so yeah, I'm feeling this. And it's nice and smooth. And then you can see my little triangle there. Let's go ahead and see how it weeds. So one thing is we can't just gauge off of how the back of the vinyl feels. We have to see how it weeds out as well. So let's go ahead, grab this. Perf. Love it. Okay, so now we're pretty good. We're gonna go ahead, load this in. And now I'm gonna use this button here. Move my blade over so it passes where both of those little test cuts were. And now let's go back to our software. These are the settings I used last, and let's cut. Check this out, guys. You might get this, especially with these vinyls that feel thicker. If it feels a little bit denty over there, when you do your whole cut, it might cut through the carrier. Check that out. So I'm literally going to take this and I'm going to throw it on a cutting mat, and I'm going to do the exact same settings but cut it on my cutting mat. So let's go over here and let me go back and I'm going to set up my, I'm going to kind of show you on my screen as well. Okay, so it's on my cutting mat. I'm going to load it over here. Let's jump over and go to my screen. So let's go back to design. Let's turn my cutting mat on for the Cameo. And so let's go to our send panel. We have all this set here. So check this out. These are the same settings. Let's go to send. And so I want you to notice, like, see how smooth this looks now? Sometimes when you have vinyls like this, it kind of like bends your vinyl. It bends your vinyl and it can cut through like that. So for some of these vinyls, especially stuff like this, I like to just use a cutting mat. So of course you don't have to. If it's something where you absolutely do not want to use a cutting mat, you can just adjust your settings. Maybe there, like bring your blade down a little bit lower or decrease your force, but this feels pretty good for my cut here. I'm going to let this unload. And then if we peel it back, it's nice and smooth. So let's go ahead. I'm going to grab this off of here. And so I'm going to kind of hold it against the light there. Like you can see a little indent, but I don't feel it on there. So, I mean, guys, check it out. Same settings, but just the mat to stabilize it. So the mat's not something, you hear a lot of times the mat, you have to decrease your thickness a little bit because it's raising it a little bit higher. I don't really think that's always the case. Sometimes I think the mat, you can leave it the same or even like, I don't know, just leave it the same, because what it's really doing is it's stabilizing your vinyl. It's not so much lifting it, it's just keeping it steady so that the cut doesn't mess up. Because if you notice, like the first cut, it just kind of wobbled around. And if you watch the video I did on cutting metal, Siser metal, that was the same result. But you can see it's coming up really nicely. It's got this cool, like, this reflective here. Let me let it focus for you. It's great for outdoors, that sort of thing there. And this is great if you're a runner, you like to run at night, because this will really reflect the light. All right, so there is my Easy Reflective, all cut with my Silhouette Cameo. So some tips with this: use a cutting mat. I think it gives you a better result. But you can continue to use the test cuts. Start with the settings that I gave you and work your way to figure out the best cut for you. So if you like this video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you get every video that we release. And if you like this video, leave us a comment. Let us know what you liked. Let us know what other things you would like to learn so we can help you be the most successful you can be.